Hey folks, welcome to tonight's stream, and we're going to be doing some widget work along with some damage to the player and end screen resetting. But first of all, Mr. Spock, if you're there, you were asking earlier about like an ATM. Now, what part do you find the most confusing about doing an ATM? Let me know that one in the chat. And what we're going to do here is I just imported a first pass of a blood outline for the screen, so we're going to work on this and I'm going to go imports and we're going to drag this in and it's going to be user interface 2D and save. As I said, this is just some random image you got off the internet. It is PNG, so it has its transparency. It's just the first pass. We'll get something more later. But we can use it for now. So, in our HUD, we're going to go to our widgets and in game, and we shall create user interface widget, and we'll say, yeah, we'll just call it blood outline. Okay. And then we'll add an image, I suppose. And that image is going to be full size, 0 that, 0 that, and then we go blood outline, wherever it is. There we go. And that'll do for our image for now. So the next thing we need to do is we need to put in our trap. We need to put our trap back. Okay, so struct until quarters pickups. Where did I put the traps? Good question. Main, don't think it's going to be in there. Interactable? Don't think so. Interfaces, main, pickups, it's not going to be in there. And it's not going to be in there, so where did I put the trap? Did I put it in its own props? No, it's in starter content, so it's not in there. So where the hell did I put the traps? I know where to put it. It's in here under dust off, because that's where I got the actual model. Right. So we're going to bring our model in. Are you there, Mr. Spock? Now, this is just a test trap as well, but it does work. And yeah, that should do it, I think. We'll go with that. Right, so on our trap, you will see that we do take damage. Okay. And for that one, this is one for taking damage. So what we do is get widgets, get all widgets of class, and we're going to do W. Where's the blood outline? Where did the W blood? That units. Right. Then we do length. And if it's greater than 0, this is one way we could do it. We could always have it up, but have it hidden, and then just make it visible. In this case, we're going to check to see if it's already created. Probably the first way I described is a better way of doing it, but let's just get it working first. Right. So if it's false, we create the widget. Create. Widget. And blood outline. And add to viewport. Okay. So we can do that. So we press play. And is our thing going to come down? Ah, okay. What we're going to do is get the demon. That's not it. Don't simulate physics, please. Okay. So I believe we might have to drop this down. We better undo that. So we'll drop that down. That looks fine. Right, so when that comes down, there we go. Okay. So if we go back to our spike trap, okay, it can only do damage to you once, but we are going to reset. And that's only if you move out the way. So at the end of race spikes, right, what we want to do is create a custom event. And then what we do is reset trap. It's not really resetting the trap. What it's doing is it's going to be resetting the damage possibility. Okay. So when it raises back up to the top, we basically say reset trap. Okay, so it's ready to do damage again. So now when the trap comes down more than once, it'll do damage more than once. Right, so it'll do damage, right? So we get the damage, then it moves up, it resets the trap. So it does damage again. It resets the damage. And that's it. It's killed me, right? So it's reset. Okay? So that works absolutely perfectly. And disable that. Now, what I was considering doing, and these are all things that you'll need to think about when you're doing your own game, is you've got to think of every eventuality. Now, not saying you're going to do anything regarding some individuality or eventuality, but you've got to give it some thought, right? So what I'm thinking is here, if the player is running around and either A, a bad guy kills him, or he gets hit by a trap and he's killed, then what we could do is move our bad guy back to his original starting position. Right? So imagine we've been playing for a minute and a half, right? And monsters have been moving around, we've been moving around, and then we get killed, right? Now you will automatically get banged to the back of the start of the game, and then the monsters at that point would still basically be in the same positions as they were when you were killed. Okay, now what you could do is leave it at that and let them start wandering about again, because they will lose perception of the player. Right? Or the other option, well, there's a couple options here, is number one, we can get them to walk back, right? Or number two, we can get them to teleport back. Right? Now, the point here is that we now have another issue. If you lose a life, do you lose progress? Or do you keep the progress? If that's the case, we don't reload the level, we only just teleport you back, right? So I think that's going to have to be the way to go with this one. And I just lost the live chat. Okay, we're back. So, we have a couple of issues here that we need to think about. And from that point of view, what we'll do is, the best thing here is just to gradually fix all the problems. Right? So, we don't want to reload the level. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our player, our pawn, right? And instead of opening the level, right, what we'll do is we'll get actors of class, right, and we shall say player start. We'll disable this, right? There is only going to be one player start per level, or at least there is at the moment, so we don't need to worry about finding a particular copy. So we just need get a copy, if I can spell it right. Right, and we get transform. Okay. And we basically split this struct, and then we get a reference to self, and then we say actor transform, and we're going to set actor, damn it, well, at least that shows us that we need to move this over a bit, right, and move that up a bit. So we're going to say set actor transform, okay, then we're going to split this, and we're basically going to do that, right, so that should face us back in the right direction, etc. But we keep the same scale because we're not going to use the player state scale. So that should finish our first issue. And this just takes us straight back to the main menu, which is exactly what we want, right? But you see our damage widget is working. Are you there, Mr. Spock? Let me know if you're there. Right, so what we'll do is right, so we got hit. We got hit again. And the third time we get hit, we get back to the start. And as you see, everything else is as it was, right? So that is kind of what we want, okay? I'm guessing Mr. Spock has gone to his bed. Now, is anybody else out there? Because what I want to do is I want some ideas. Hi, pretty movie, how you doing? Right, so we've got the first part working, right? Unfortunately, we really need to get rid of the monster for now. We're not going to break this, so it can't get to us. Well, it can get to us if it likes, doesn't matter. Right, so that's one hit, two hits. Right. And then third hit. That takes us back to the start, right? One hit. Two hits. And that's taken us back to the start. Menu. Is that right? Was that right? Current HP. There should be current HP and current lives. Right? Now I'm just wondering how many lives we start with. Right, because that didn't appear quite right, if you ask me. So, when things don't appear right, what we do yeah, it's just the first attempt thing. It was just to get it working. It wasn't a finished graphics or nothing. It's just a placeholder. So we go event tick. Right, this is going to come out, so don't have a heart attack that I'm using event tick, because it's just for testing purposes. Right, and we're going to get the main stats. Then we're going to break it. And then we're basically going to print the lives. Print lives. What am I doing? Print string, you daft idiot. Right, so that's going to go in there. That's going to go in there. Pretty maybe I'm just doing the like game over, lose a life conditions and setting up some basic conditions for them and making sure those conditions work. These were the conditions here for, this is for losing a life. Sorry, this is for taking damage, right? So you have 3 points of damage. If it reaches 0, you lose a life, right? Which teleports you back to the start of the level, right? There's obviously other things going to happen, like it'll play an animation or do some weird stuff. And then if you lose all your lives, so if your damage gets down to 0, you lose a life. And if you lose all your lives, you go back to the main menu. Right, now I did appear to go back to the main menu early. Now, I think I know why that is. So we lose a life, and then the current HP should go to 3. So we're setting our main stats. So that's what should have happened. Right? So the interesting thing here is this would be set here, but I'm just manually setting it for the moment and just checking it out. Okay, so now this is going to print out, damn it, this is going to print out how many hit points we have left. Right, so yeah, it's lives we've got left. So the next time it hits us, we should go down to 2. Right? And now we're down to 2, which is correct. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Alright, sorry about this, but I'm going to take the monster out. Or at least I'm going to move him somewhere like away. Yeah, I'm busy deleting him. Okay, don't delete that. Right, Mr. Monster, I'm afraid you can go for now. so that I can test this. So do you work in Unreal Engine, maybe? Right, so that's the first damage. Yeah, and I know, it's just a placeholder. That's us taking 2 damage. Right, so that takes us back to the start. We've got two lives left. Right, that's 1. Right, so it looks like the damage isn't taking from the damage. Right, so it seems to be removing from lives rather than damage. It's setting current HP. Right, that's fine. It's setting the main stats here. And that's just transporting you. Right, so I'll tell you what, I'm going to do that, right? And in our event graph, we're going to do current HP. Right, so we've got 3. Should hit us, we've got 2. Right, we've got 2. Hits us again, we've got 1. Right, we've got 1. Now it should reset. Right, but we're back to 2. The hell? What the heck? That ain't right. Okay. I keep doing that. I used to do that and it was no problem because I could just drag this out of the way when it wasn't set on the actual. Right, so we're down to 2. Down to 1. Next time it should break. There we go, there is the break. Our struct out says current hit points 3. right? Current HP 3. Lives 2. That's right. That's fine. And all we're doing is transforming it and moving it back to where it should be. Okay. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to move this or rather, hang on a second. What we're going to do is we're going to move this to here. Then we're going to copy that. In fact, yeah, okay. Right, we'll copy this. I'm not going to use it all, but we're going to delete that. Right, why is that not just selecting itself? I'm going to hide those pins. And then after it has transported, I'm going to reset the values because I think there's something weird going on regarding the trap getting reset. And it's basically undoing, or it's creating another damage, because basically what's happening is it's basically unhovering. No, not unhovering. It's not overlapping anymore. So basically, it's not overlapping anymore. So it's resetting a possibility to hit it again, and that's what's actually happening. And it's just automatically re-hitting it again straight after the fact, or that's my explanation of it. Where's the... Right, we can just run into these, right? Okay, so it's done a damage. And there we're back to 3. So that fixed that. Okay. Right, so that's back to the start. That's us down to 1 life, right? And at the end of this one, it should take us back to the original menu. Okay. Right. And that didn't take us back to the original menu. Right, that's because we didn't set that value. Right, you'll notice here that we actually need to set this value as well. Right, so this needs to go here. Okay. So tidy this up a bit. Drag that down a bit. Drag that. Then we'll just get this out the way. There we go. Looks good to me. And this one, we can hide that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set a widget in our pawn. Right. So we're going to have a variable, and it's going to be the score damage. Right. And it's going to be W underscore blood outline. We're going to save it. And we're not going to do this anymore. So we're going to remove that. And this one we are going to categorize it under widgets. And when we set up, we're going to set this up to be, well, it doesn't actually matter. This widget here, we're going to have to open it, right? And what we're actually going to do here is we're going to set it to hidden. And the actual, we're going to say not hit testable, self and all children. Okay. And then in here, we're going to get this. And we do need to make a change here, because this image, and we'll call it image blood, it is a variable, so we can save that. And then in here we can say image blood, and we can see visibility is visible. Now when we're taking damage or we are actually healing ourselves, we can obviously reset this and say it's hidden again, or we can do something with these values. We can set up an array that set up this widget with different amounts of blood, let's say like a tiny amount of blood or more blood, or opacity. We can change that as you get hit, right? But in the short term we just want this part to work, right? So we just, it doesn't matter how it looks right now, all we're bothered about is the functionality. Right, so I'm an idiot. Because in our pawn now, when we begin play, right, we need to create the widget and set it, right? So we need to say create widget right, and blood outline, right? Then we need to set this and then we need to add it to the viewport, right? Even though it's actually going to be hidden until we actually do some damage. Right, there we go. Now we're obviously going to have to do some sort of reset when we actually do this, right? So basically in here there's going to be a custom event or function that basically says lost life, right? Lost life reset, and that's going to basically reset this, right, to hidden, because you'll obviously be back to your full health. Okay. Now, what I could do with this is you could obviously set opacity based on the state and the lives left. So you could go to like, let's say 0.25 or 0.5 opacity, and then 0.25, or sorry, 0.1, 1, actually 1, right? You go to 0.5 for like if you're down 1 health, and then the opacity to 1 if you're at 1 health left. And you could do something like that. Or you could set an array of the health -1 and set your two images to be 0 and 1 in an array, and then swap out the image so that you've got two different blood images, right? So we've got a few options there, and we're going to have to obviously program this back in. So what we'll do in the meantime is we'll go back to our event graph, right? And we haven't got that many, so we'll just do custom event. And lost life reset. Right? Now, we could, in theory, intake damage, we could move this whole lot of code into there. Right? And I'm tempted to do so. Right, so what we'll do is we shall copy that and we'll paste it here. We'll do that. Whoopsie doopsie. And what we can actually do here is we can get this, we can say lives, and then we can say -1, -1, then we can pop it there. We can delete that and put that there. Right? And then if we go back to our take damage, we can do this. We can copy it. We can delete this. And we can just do that. Then we can double click on that. Then we can paste. Now, I'm probably going to do something with this, right? This take damage or add damage is going to be somewhere itself, so that I don't need to do this in lots of different places or whatever. So that it's just like, okay, take damage, and then basically add to HP or take away from HP, and then in the add or take away from HP, it just checks the value of the HP and then either hides it or doesn't. Right, but now this should work, that when we get reset back to the start, right, and when we get there we go, we get teleported back, everything's reset, that's no longer showing, everything's cool, right? That's all good. Right, I'm going to go and have a quick cigarette. I shall be back in about 2.5, 3 minutes. If you're enjoying the stream, hit like and subscribe, and check out the description while you've got the time for joining Discord, which you're welcome to join, and the ways to support the channel. Helps out a great deal. It'll allow me to buy assets and stuff. You can join Patreon. You can get your name in the credits, and also my previous game on Steam, which is a tower defense game, and even if you check that out and just add it to your wish list, then that would help out a great deal. I shall be right back. Don't go anywhere, folks. Okay folks, we're back, and what are we doing? Oh yeah, we're getting things to work, and we're running out of things that we can actually... Right, next thing is another widget, and that widget is going to be widget level complete. Okay, so we shall just do something with this again. So we'll just throw on text, right, and then we'll wrap it with a border, and then our border is going to be the full thing. So we'll zero that, and then we shall make it black, just for now. Then our text block, we'll center it, and then we'll just type in level complete. Right, and in our font we get our thing, and then we'll go, let's say 48 for a laugh. Okay, let's say 72 for a laugh. Right, and we won't show this at all times because it doesn't make sense if we do, but we shall go to the player and reset bonus counter, decrease timer, and this is it here, right? So what we can do is we can say create widget, and we've got a bit of a thunderstorm going on. And that will be add to viewport. Okay. Now, what we can do to test this out is not to go into level 1, which would require us to run about for God knows how long to pick up all the stuff, but if we go to maps and we just go to level 2, right, level 2 isn't going to have that many, and it's also got, hopefully we can set this to the pick up a mini map, then we can press play, and we've got 12, right, which is basically going to be round about here. There we go. So that works perfectly. So we're gradually beginning to get all of our ducks in a row here, right? But we are going to have to do something with this. I don't know how well that was working. Not very. There's obviously a few things that need sorted out, like the outlines and certain graphics on this thing. It looks like a couple of the parts aren't right, but I hadn't really worked on this, so I'm not really worried about it, so don't worry. That's all going to get sorted out. This was basically for everything other than right. We're obviously going to have to switch off pickups and stuff, right? But this was basically the beginning of making like rooms inside the mansion, right? Rather than just these little corridors, which is okay for the first level, right? But we need some more variation on this. So we're going to make different types of rooms and different parts so that we can actually make different types of levels, right? Which might actually end up being going upstairs, downstairs, roundabout, blah blah blah, right? But for the moment, we're happy with progress. We've got level complete, right? And the next thing we can do is we can start having a timer, right? So, and that is going to be part of our completion widget, right? So the first thing we're going to do here is probably add a vertical box in here. Okay, so what we're going to do is wrap this with a vertical box then. Okay, and then this will all get changed, by the way, so don't worry about it. It's just a rough start. So we're basically going to say that this one is going to be time taken, right? And this is probably going to get wrapped in a horizontal box, and we're going to be, whoops, the daisies, duplicating this, right? And this is going to be text time taken, and we're going to be setting that to nothing, and these two we're we're going to be changing the font to like, let's say 36. Right, and then if we go to primitives, we can get a spacer, and then we can bang in a little bit of Y space, let's say 20. Okay. And this time taken is, we'll just do this in a, I'll tell you what we'll do this as a function, right? Or a custom event or something, right? So that when we don't even need the event construct if we're going to do it. So we'll do it in a custom event. Right, and we'll say it's going to be display let's say display score. Right, and we'll do this, we'll get that, and we'll set text. Right, now what I suggest I'm going to end up doing here is actually creating a, what do you call it? A struct, right? So struct and enums. So we're going to create a struct in here, and it's going to be struct underscore level score. Now we're just going to put one thing in it right now, and that's going to be time taken, and that is going to be, I believe, a float, right? It might be a timestamp, I'm not 100% sure, right? But when the level finishes, then basically we're going to pass in, we're going to set one variable here, and it's going to be struct score, and it's going to be struct level score. In fact, I don't even need to do that. What am I talking about? Right, we just need to set this with an input. Right, and it's going to be score, and it's going to be struct level score. Okay, and then we're going to have to do some formatting, but I'm just getting the basis for how this is going to work set up. So when we finish the level, what we'll do is we'll build the struct for the score, and then we'll pass it into this display, and then this display will basically break it, right, and then use all the different values in here to construct our widget. Okay. So for this, what we're going to do is we're Pawn Chronicles, right? This is the part here, right? And I'm going to delete that. Right? And then off of this, we're going to display the score. Right? And then off of this, we're going to make this struct. Okay? And we want time get, it's not that one. It's not them. I believe might be this one. I think it's, I can't remember which one I'm looking for here. Get game time in seconds. Yeah, we can grab that one. And it is a float. Right, so in theory now, we should be able to play this and pick up all the stuff, and it should give us a game time. $17.652, there you go. How's about that then? Okay, so now what I can do is I've already got a struct and a data table for the levels, and they can now have like different time targets, and then we can sort scores and stuff out depending on the number of things we get, right? But what I'm going to do now is in this level score, we're going to set up a new one, and it's going to be pickups collected, right? And that's going to be an integer. Now we can give this, we can do this and break it down into speed pickups, minimap pickups, and stun pickups if we want to, but this just begins to start giving us an idea of what we want. And you'll notice that now in here we have this value, right? And the total pickups, I can actually pick any one of these because obviously it's when they're equal that we do this, so it doesn't matter which one I pick. In this instance, but that's now going to go into our level complete. We can go into designer, close that. I'm going to have to investigate how we can get rid of that crap. Right, and then we're going to duplicate our horizontal box. And we can just say pickups collected. Right. We can do all the formatting and all the funky stuff later. And that's got space after it, and it looks like this does not. Actually, it looks like it does. Right, and we can just call this text pickups. Right, and that is a variable, and that isn't, which is fine. Right, so now we can go into our graph, we can go into our pickups. Right, we can, damn it. Then we can set text. Excuse me. Hi Rainy Hark, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. So we can now just start pulling our values out of here. Right, and as we go down, we can gradually just expand on it. Then we can make things look a bit better or whatever. But we've got our basic system for doing our end of level score. It's kind of 3D Pac-Man, but a bit scary. Right, so basically that's all working. Which is nice. Oops. There we go. A backrooms horror game. Don't know what the backrooms means, but cool. Are you doing it in Unreal Engine or are you using something else, or? Right, so we know that's all working. Right, we do need to beautify it a bit, but fundamentally it's working. So now we have the basis for that all done. Backrooms is, can you describe what that genre is? And I'll tell you, or give me some examples of a backrooms horror genre game. Right, so we've got our traps, etc. Right, and we've got our breaky thing. We've got our teleporters, which show you where you're going to teleport to and to see if there's any bad guys there. Right, now I may need to change the speed of that because it's quite hard. But yeah, so that takes us to there, which is basically at the end of that path. We have our mini-map all working. Right, we have our pickups working. We have damage working. We have our monsters working. Not that there's any in here right now, but that's a weird one. Right, escape that, because there's something off about this corner. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another corner. Ah, oh, damn it. Right, we're going to go for it here. It's 10 of a difference, which means that it's going to be a tight squeeze here. Right, and I'm going to it's going to have to turn anyway, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that back to 50. Right, and it's actually only going to have to go through 90 degrees here. And there we go. So to make sure that is right, we can basically go up here, and yeah, that's fine now. Let's have a look around, see if there's any other issues. I don't know, this might be a backrooms horror game, I have no idea. Oh, we've got a problem up here. Yeah, we've got major problems up here. We've got an end of a thing, and we need a T-junction. Right, so we're going to escape that. Right, and this piece is not correct. Yeah, it's a turn. It shouldn't be a turn. Right, so I'm going to move that. Right, this should actually be a T-junction. Okay, that's fine. So I guess we'll just add a T-junction then. Okay. That's going to get spun that way. Then we go into position and we're done. And that's the wrong way. It needs to go like that. There we go. And this turn can basically go now. And when you see that's pretty alright. So if I press play now, we can try and go the same way, right? Not that I'm going to remember what the same way was, but right, so we go through this door. Right. Now, this might be not a problem, right? But this is a problem, because that should not be a turn, right? Now, it depends where it is. Yeah, this should not be a turn. That should be a T-junction again. Where is this? Yeah, this should be a T-junction. Yeah, it kinda should. Hi there, Andy 500, how you doing? Well, to be fair, well, greetings from Mexico, I suppose. Greetings from Germany, greetings from Mexico, greetings from wherever. Right, so that's that fixed. Now, there is an issue here because there's basically an opening over here somewhere where it's actually here, I believe, or it's over here somewhere, right? And this looks right. Let me just, it's over here somewhere, right? There's an opening. Might be, no, it's not there. Right, so I'll go left through that door and then to the right, okay? And then I check up there. then we should go up here. And then maybe we should go up here. Well, what we should do is we should just wander about actually, because that's going to be the best way to find problems, I suppose. Right. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Now, should this be... I'm guessing that should be a turn. Right? Yep, that should be a turn. Right, so we'll just get another turn. And we'll duplicate it. And we're going 180. And that looks right. Yeah, it's looking good, but it's going to look better because the way I do it is always iterate and think of ideas. Like the other day I did all the different wallpapers, so you get the game's fresh every time you look. It's like different wallpapers and stuff. Different patterns, different colours, different stuff. These pictures and lights are different every time. The level layout's the same, but you'll notice that with no pictures this time, it's a different wallpaper. There's different lighting, etc, etc. Oopsie. These wood blocks are in different places every time. So there's a bit of randomness to it, which keeps it fresh. And I think that's okay. Right? But we're going to save the current. And I'm going to show you it for the start, right? Because that's just a level. Right? But I've dragged this over a bit. Stop this for now. Right, so yeah, whatever. So he does like loads of stuff. Right. And then like all of this stuff works, you know, like you click on that, do high scores, options, you can do all this stuff, key bindings, gameplay settings, audio, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. Then when you play the game you go into like a gateway section, right? And then like there's just little touches, like this clock actually works, right? And stuff like that. And then to pick a level, you basically, it's the photos on the wall. and you can do that type of stuff. So this actually takes you into the level. So if I hit enter, subscribe to my channel, Rennie. I'm in the middle of making a video on why I don't upgrade to Unreal Engine 5. There's about 6 different reasons. Number 1, performance is terrible in Unreal Engine 5. It stutters like God knows what. Number 2, plugins. Right? There's a lot of plugins that aren't compatible yet. Number 3, it runs your computer 10 degrees hotter. Right? Number 4, there's still a lot of bugs, which I've came across myself. And there is a number 5 and there is a number 6, but I can't remember what they are. Right? It's not ready. It's not ready for prime time. Simple as that. When it is ready, I'll use it. But right now, it ain't ready. Right? Plus the fact that the advantages of it, which are A, nanite, and B, lumen, are pretty much pointless in the game I'm making and the other game I'm making. Right? They really pretty much add a minimal amount, if anything. So, considering Unreal Engine 5 is based on the code base of 4.27, then I'm as well just using 4.27. There's nothing in Unreal Engine 5 that makes it really powerful. The only 2 things in it that are an upgrade to 4.27 are lumen and nanite. And if you're not making an open world game, then those are pretty much pointless. Right? So you can say buzzwords like it's really powerful, but it's not any more powerful than 4.27, considering they're based on the same code. Right? Plus the fact that the performance in the editor is absolutely terrible. Right? This would be running like a slideshow right now in Unreal Engine 5, right? Now, if you're not having any of those problems, then great, right? But the thing is as well, that is, oh, there's another problem. There's a lot of things out of whack there. Oh, and I'm in the wrong thing now. Yeah, Unreal Engine 5 isn't any great more powerful than Unreal Engine 4.27. If you think it is, you're kidding yourself. And as I said, its advantages, as far as I have seen, are basically it's good for open world games. Right? There's some fancy stuff there that you can do with open world games that's really cool. Right, I don't make open world games. There you go. And as I said, I am actually currently making a video for why I don't use Unreal Engine 5 yet. Right, which is basically all the points is brought up. Right, so where was that place? Right, here's another. No, that one's okay. Trying to find issues here, but I can't find any again. Probably in the wrong part of the map, and I don't know this map well enough yet that I can basically run to directly to a particular spot on the map. Alright. So, right, these are, this isn't it. This is a problem. Don't know what's going on here. Right, unless, yeah, this is at the end of a level. Or sorry, it's actually not. Right, this turn is the wrong way around or something. No, actually, this is actually the wrong way around. Right. But yeah, I'm glad I've done this now, because I've fixed a few problems that had a Wait a minute. That shouldn't be a turn. That's the problem. Or if it is a turn, it should turn up here. Which maybe it does actually. Or maybe I'll change it to. Right, so if I set that there, but then I turn this round and then set it to here, right, that's a bit better. And that should be right. Now, there was some problems, but I don't know exactly where they were. This doesn't look good though. But it might be perfectly okay. But I need to find that place on the map where there was stuff had got a bit out of kilter. So it's not there. I'm going to say it might be actually in here. But it's not, you know. Interesting. So it's not there. So I'm going to presume that it might be here. Apparently it's not here either. I'm going to have to just run about in this maze and see if I can find this place that's just not quite right. Right, I know what happened. There was a lot of parts that it moved single parts of the blueprint about for some unknown reason. As I said, I know when and where it happened. Now, this doesn't look right, I can tell you that much. And yeah, this doesn't look right either. Yeah, it does. That's a turn. If that's a turn, that's okay. Yeah, it is. Right, but what we need... I think I know what the problem is here. And that's not it. But we can drag that into there, and this should be okay now. Yeah, I think I know what the problem is. A turn can't go into a door, or it doesn't look right. That is quite simply the issue. Right, so I'm going to have to check these because doors can't go in, turns can't go into doors. Right? It's as simple as that. And on that, I'm going to bid you farewell for the night. I shall see you tomorrow at 2 PM Central. If you enjoyed the stream, hit the like and subscribe, and check out the description for links to Discord, my previous game on Steam, and how to support the channel on Patreon. Bye bye for now.